Do you see a benefit more in 3 than 2? Because no matter when there's a 2, 1 unites, or do you see benefit in 2 over 3, or solo?
I don't think there's any way to answer that question in the generic, so let me walk through the advantages and disadvantages of each. So as a solopreneur, you will have the most fun, but I think your likelihood of going out of business is the highest, because you don't have anybody checking you. So because it is very hard, I know because I try every single day, it is very hard to get your employees to challenge you, especially openly. So that means that you're not getting all the good ideas. And there's no universe in which you have all the good ideas. I don't care how smart you are. So when there's no one who's your equal, it gets really hard to make sure that you have total clarity, and that when you're acting in a way that does not behoove the company, that somebody feels completely comfortable saying, that's not working. And when you don't have that, that's dangerous. But like having a vision and just being able to execute and not have to convince people is fun. So, and if you're right, then hey, it's great. I think that's probably also where the "it's lonely at the top" phrase comes from. Now, because I've never been alone at the top, for me, like that, there's no ring of truth to that. So I've always had partners. Now, when I had 3 partners, it was really complicated. And trying to make sure that you're both doing what's right for the company and doing something that makes everybody feel good. And then if you have different like parents that are of different religions, on those areas where you have a collision of values, that's problematic. Because your likelihood of convincing somebody to change their mind is good. Your likelihood of convincing to change someone's values is virtually 0. Like, it is so deeply ingrained in who they are, they mistake it for the truth of the world.
Right.
So it's like, I don't mean it in a religious context, but when you start thinking about religious values, you get how entrenched people become. So take 2 parents that have different religions and they want to raise their kid. To them, the stakes are high. The stakes may be, this child will go to hell if they're not raised in the way that I want. You have 2 people thinking the same thing. So you could definitely run into that in business, where you get the like, if we do what you're saying, we're going to lose the business. And they're thinking, if we do what you say, we're going to lose the business.
Right.
Now you have a collision of values. That's hard. And so navigating your way through that is very, very difficult. But when you have 3 people that hold each other in very high esteem, that have an insane degree of trust, that have been in the trenches for a long time, you've seen them at their most vulnerable and they still show up for you. Like, when you have that kind of history, then it's really extraordinary. But if you don't have that history, so finding a partner that you're going to make an equal partner right from the jump is tough. Now, a partnership of 2, you can get into a deadlock. And so at least when there's 3, there's a third person to be like, yo, I'm with this person on this.
Good point.
And so there's always somebody to break the tie. There's never like, well, how about this? We were never in a situation where we were in a 3-way deadlock. So it was just far too easy. One person knew, this one's either close enough to what I want anyway or whatever, I'm just going to go with that and vote. So somebody was always getting outvoted. You just knew from time to time you're going to get outvoted, and this may be the key. As long as everybody actually wants their other 2 partners to win, it works. So if I always want my way to be right, and I don't give a shit about you or your feelings, then it's going to be bad, and you and I are going to have animosity. But if I actually want you to win, and so I'm like, I think I'm right this time, but I know what it's like to always have someone else's idea win, and I never get to see if my idea works. So even though I think I'm right, I'm going to disagree, but I'm going to commit to your idea. And that whole disagree but commit was a big thing.
Disagree but commit.
I disagree but commit. Like, when we walk out this door, no one will be able to tell which one of us disagreed, because we will be so die-hard about it.
I love that.
So that was a real thing.
I love that.
So now my partnership is with my wife. And when we created the company,
Impact Theory.
Impact
Just
Theory.
the 2 of you.
Just the 2 of
no
us.
one else.
Nothing.
Any plans of bringing anybody in?
All of our employees have basically phantom shares, so they have ownership. If we sold, they'd get a piece, but they don't vote or anything like that.
Okay.
So no, I would be shocked if we did that. Won't never say never, but I'd be surprised. And when we created it, I told the lawyer, create the ultimate divorce nightmare. And my wife was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You take 51, I'll take 49. Like, there's no need to do that. The lawyers are like, listen to her. You take 51, she takes 49. It just makes things clear, Tom. And I said, no. 50-50, because A, my marriage is my highest priority. The business comes a distant second. And 2, if I say to her, we're equals in every way, but I don't trust you quite enough to give you equal percentage, even though she agrees, it sends a signal to her that I'm hedging my bets. And the reality is, I know what that does to people psychologically. So, and that's the exact reason at Quest that we were 33 1/3 each. Just, you don't get any benefit by making it different, and you get massive dissent when it's off.